And you are live.
All right, so we are calling our the meeting of the Akron Civil Rights Commission to order at 4:40 p.m. And our first item on our end for today, we have thank you to Commissioner Thomas for agreeing to take notes. And we have two excused absences today, our chairperson, Commissioner Lee, and our usual note taker, Commissioner Belcher. So thank you, Commissioner Thomas, for doing that. And welcome everybody. So our agenda, we start with the consideration of suspension of the rules requiring in-person attendance, in-person voting, and in-person public comments. So as usual, I'll look for a motion for that.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate by waving or saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? I think I heard everyone. That was unanimous. So good. All right. So that passes unanimously. Thank you. So our second order of business is to review the minutes that I believe we received in our email, right? Yep. I'm not imagining that it was December's. So anyone, so maybe we pass a motion first before discussion. So can I have a motion to accept those minutes from the January meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Holland. Second?
I'll second. Gina Kay.
Thank you, Commissioner Maddox. And any discussion about those minutes? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? No. Heard everybody, so unanimously passed the minutes. All right, so we've got old business. Under old business, report on investigation, blah, 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 19-00013.
Oh my.
Oh my. So I received an email yesterday from the law firm that is representing the respondent, and they are still working with, because of the union situation, they are still working with the client to negotiate my interviews with what I hope to be the final two interviews with the co-workers that were identified as being necessary to interview at this point in the process. So the investigation is ongoing. I certainly would hope that I get those within the next month. And I'm not, you know, at some point we're going to have a discussion if that doesn't happen, but that's where I am at the moment on that investigation. Any questions, comments? Okay, so moving along to, we're not going to be able to do, and I think I've been saying for Latonda, I think I've been saying Belcher, but she's Mobley, right?
Yes.
Sorry, my mistake, earlier comments. So if anyone who's taking note of that. So report on investigations, 20 and all the zeros, 3, and then number 4. So Commissioner Mobley isn't here, so we'll just suspend that, move on in the agenda, or table it, not suspend it. So then we've got new business, and we received new complaints.
No new complaints this month.
Didn't think we had seen any. Thank you so much.
Sure.
John, and then consider amending the rules to contemplate the remote attendance and voting. Would you like to speak to that, John? Or?
Sure. So it was probably a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I sent out amended rules in a red line version for your review. I don't know if you had a chance to look at those. I don't know that I can share a screen. I could try and figure it out here if you want to bear with me. Do you all have those in front of you?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I just pull them up quickly. I believe you can share your screen, John, if you wanted to.
Yeah, John, do you want to try to put it up there or able to do it?
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, John, if you look at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you should see a thing that says share screen. When you click on that, it'll give you like what screen or what you want to share. Just select the appropriate one and then it should go for you.
So if I've got it on my desktop right now,
Would it be easier if
oh yeah, here it is.
Oh, yeah,
Let
okay.
me try this.
There we go. Perfect.
So yeah, I'll just give you a brief description here. The goal was to allow the commission to keep meeting virtually, and this would give the chair the ability to determine when virtual meetings would be called. So basically, I think for the foreseeable future, it'll continue to be virtual meetings. But even when we get past the pandemic, the charter was amended in November by the voters. They approved the authority to allow council and the boards and commissions of Akron to meet virtually. So theoretically, this could continue even after the pandemic's over. Your rules would allow that the way they're written now. When I got into the rules, I realized that the rules contemplated a special meeting, but you didn't really have a rule to talk about how a special meeting would be called. So that's why I added 3C to basically give the ability of the chair or any three members of the body to call a special meeting. Generally, like for council, I believe council rules say 4 members could call a special meeting. So it's generally not a majority, but it's enough people to let the others know that there's something important that needs to be discussed. So that was the idea behind 3C. 3D was to allow the chair to determine when a virtual meeting would be held. 3E just talks about meeting by video conference and how notice will be given. And then in the G section of this rule, it gets into specifically how to give notice. I think I'm going to have to go, let's see. To get to the next page, Nina, do I have to go out of share screen and then
You can
Just
just
scroll
scroll, you just
down.
scroll down.
oh, there we go. Thanks. So it talks about the fact, this is what's going to enable you to, if you adopt these rules, enable you to not have to make the motion at the beginning of the meeting anymore, because meeting virtually will be a recognized way of how you're allowed to meet, how you're allowed to vote, and how you're allowed to attend. So basically right now, what you're doing would be deemed attendance because you're connected audio and visual to this meeting. And then it finally, the final sentence of section E just recognizes that if a person with an interest coming before the commission, they can also participate virtually by this conference, whether it's to make a public comment or whether they're appearing as a witness or a complainant or a respondent, they would be deemed present as well. So I believe those are the only changes. Yeah, those are the only changes to the rules that I drafted. That doesn't mean they have to be passed in this form. If you all want to, bring something to my attention, I could certainly go back and make revisions for next month.
Okay, John, could you, up at the top in the middle of your screen, could you hit the stop sharing?
Sure.
There should be a little pop down there.
Top middle.
If you put your cursor up towards the top in the middle. Or Nina, if you're our administrative person, perhaps you could do the stop sharing too.
Yes, I can make him stop sharing. Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't seem to find that button.
No, I know it's a tough one to find, actually. Thank you so much for sharing that. It made it easier trying to do side by side with the electronic version. So I think I would entertain a motion so that we can move to discussion, if there is one. Would anyone like to move?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Well, I'll go ahead and second the motion. So let's discuss those suggested changes.
Commissioners, I am very pleased with this. I think it serves the purpose, and it's, concise. I'm certainly in support of it. Seems reasonable and timely.
Thank you. I understand at the moment that we don't have public comment people joining us on Zoom, on whatever we're on, YouTube or whatever. So would that be, am I reading it correctly to say that in future, if there were public comment people, they would be allowed into the meeting? Or would that be at the discretion of the chair, John? Oh, John, you're muted.
Thank you, sorry. So the way it's written right now on the notice, there's an email address set up for public comments, because that's what the commission decided to do as far as public comments.
Just as you were reading, as you were sharing that with us, when you said the last line of the section E, you had mentioned public comment. So I just want to clarify that it's not, we
John,
could.
it looked like you put in there that the public could attend by virtually. So that's what she's asking. Is that what you intended?
Right. Well,
because I don't know if council does it that way. If they
No.
No, the council allows it only in writing, or by council actually has a voicemail set up, so you can record a 3-minute recording if you want to.
Yeah.
And then they'll play it at the council meeting. I mean, my IT skills are really limited, so I could really mess that up. But yeah, it would be a possibility going forward if the commission wanted to invite public comments. You could also, I think the way that could work is the notice could say, if you'd like to appear and make public comment, please provide us your email address. And then before the meeting, we could send a Zoom invitation to the person wishing to make a public comment. So they would connect by Zoom right on this call. They wouldn't be on the YouTube channel because that's only the live stream and they couldn't participate. They'd need to get a Zoom invitation.
I mean, think we might have to properly say it, John. So we might want to just revisit the way in which it's written in there, because it seems broader, like they could just join in on any of the, and so you don't want that confusion,
Well, I think the purpose of the rule is just to recognize that anybody appearing by video conference is deemed to be in attendance for purposes of the rule, of satisfying the rules.
Can I call on, I just want to call on Commissioner Thomas has a point that she wants to make.
Yeah. Okay, you're talking about the section E, the last bit of section E about any person with an interest in an administrative proceeding. That's what we're talking about? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I didn't construe that. I didn't read that as, I guess it does say any person. Okay, so given that the city council has now said that they're not reading comments on, during their meetings, is that something that we want to be take into consideration? I think they're going to have people do the voicemail and they'll play that, or is that?
I think what city council, at least the last I was involved with city council, what they were doing was either accepting written comments, which the clerk would read, or they were playing the voicemails.
Yesterday, or Monday, they had 104 voicemails, and then there were some that were read in because they were written in. So,
Mr. York, they are retiring Sorry, they are retiring the email as of next week, and it will be voicemails only.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
See, the difficulty I see with the voicemails for this body is city council has a clerk and one deputy clerk and then another assistant. We just don't have staff for this. So I don't see that being a very good solution.
So can I suggest that we stick to our emails, that that has worked for us. We have not had any complaint about it. While it hasn't been used, we don't have somebody calling and saying, I need to leave, I need to get to the commission. So I think that it's sufficient. I would propose that we continue to use the email for the reasons that, John, you're outlining, which I think are really, really salient. My question, though, is around, it's still that same section, but it's the wording that says, any person with an interest in a proceeding coming before the commission may appear.
Yeah.
Is that up to that person, or is that up to the chair to determine, or someone? Because we may have folk who feel that they are interested and would like to attend, where we feel that we may not want them on the Zoom call with us. They could watch the YouTube channel, and that would be sufficient, right? Because any person who has an interest, what does that mean?
Yeah, I think we have to look at that. It's a little broad, and we just want to be clear as to what is intended there.
So just to make sure I understand, so you're saying if there's a hearing and you really want the person, maybe the respondent or the witness, to be in person attending when we get back to in-person meetings, if the commission feels their in-person attendance is necessary, you don't want them to say, well, your rules say I could appear virtually and that's good enough. Am I understanding that?
That's one thing, but I'm also, certainly, that's not actually what I was intending, but I agree that is one case.
Okay.
The other is that, and so yes, if we are calling an in-person meeting, you have to be there in person. If the meeting is virtual, you have to be there virtually. But what I'm suggesting is perhaps a bit more nuanced. So say, for example, there are individuals associated with either the respondent or the complainant who we may have interviewed, but who we are not calling for the hearing, or the respondent is not calling for the hearing, but they would like to be present. I would suggest that they could be present in the sense of watching the YouTube channel. However, I think the way it's currently written makes it seem that if they wanted to ask, they should be allowed into this Zoom call. And I don't think that's what we might want. It's the sort of having a voice without vote, or being present for a meeting without necessarily, having the opportunity to speak or contribute. In other words, we're a public body, but in this virtual setting, does that mean that anybody who wants to be should be able to come to this Zoom part of this? Am I making sense to everyone? I see Yamini saying, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think between Yamini and I, we can work this. We can work this up. But I think from what I'm hearing, you'd like me to take another shot at it and bring it back next month.
Well, let me ask this. So Esther, you made the motion. Are there parts of this that would it be worth our adopting parts of this now? Or do you just want us to amend the motion and table it for next time?
Is that a question for me or for Esther?
Yeah, I mean, for all of us, I suppose.
I think to help you going forward, I would think that every part of the amendments could be passed, except for the sentence that we're having the issues with. So maybe if the motion were amended, because you wouldn't have to make that initial motion at next month's meeting if the other parts of the rules were passed.
Okay. Yeah, I agreed. I'll certainly move to amend the motion with the exception of the sentence regarding administrative participation, that we table that section, but that we approve the other revision.
And I will second that. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
Any further discussion? So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion passes. Thank you. Oh, I lost my agenda. Okay. So we're on to number 5, to discuss projects to develop community involvement and relationship building. Would anyone like to speak to this? Yes, Commissioner Thomas.
Okay, greetings. I have a invitation of sorts from the Akron barristers. Specifically outgoing barrister president Ed Gilbert, Attorney Gilbert, indicates that that he would love to have an informational presentation jointly by the ACRC and the Ohio Civil Rights Commission. There's some new Ohio, civil rights legislation and, things that have changed. And so just to update interested parties during Black History Month regarding some of the updates to civil rights law in Ohio, as well as informing interested parties about the Akron Civil Rights Commission. What is our jurisdiction? Those types of things. The intended audience, it would be a virtual event. They're looking at dates in February, possibly a lunchtime presentation between noon and 1:15. And the content would address upcoming developments and the new laws for OCRC and ACRC, and anything that we want the public to know about the Akron Civil Rights Commission. This email went jointly to myself and to Bradley Dunn. I believe Attorney Dunn is like, yeah, let's go get him. And I indicated to Attorney Gilbert that I would be bringing this to the commission this evening. I do, in conversation with Ed, he did indicate that, hey, he might even be looking as soon as Monday on President's Day. So 2 weeks from this, or a week from this coming Monday. And I wanted to throw that out to commissioners. I think that it's a good vehicle to get some public exposure, as well as educate about what the ACRC does, as well as show solidarity to the Ohio Civil Rights Commission, as well as the barristers.
Thank you. That sounds like a worthwhile project, and I'm seeing certainly Commissioner Holland is nodding her head. So is that something that you would be volunteering to represent us on, Commissioner Thomas?
Absolutely. I would love to, but I also want other commissioners. It's a virtual meeting. It's to join and also be visible. I know there is and also I'm seeking other support in how to present this. I know there was a presentation. I'm not sure we'll have a lot of time for that, but certainly the more commissioners that are available and visible, that'd be great as well.
Okay, so do you think it would be sufficient for us to let you know even after this meeting if we're available at that time, and you could confirm the date with us? I'm assuming, since you're nodding, that Commissioner Holland would be interested in attending, and I know that Mondays are generally days that I could attend and would love to, especially virtually, that's easier. Gina K, would you like to stay in the loop? Would you like Esther to keep you in the email loop?
Absolutely. Yes, I would like to attend. Monday is a good day for me as well, if that's the day they select.
Okay. I will email everyone with an update and information. Whether you're interested or not, you'll probably be carbon copied on that email, so that everyone who and any links for that Zoom, I will certainly provide. So that'd be great. But I'll definitely be there.
Okay, and fair to say, I would offer that we would look to you to be our spokeswoman, spokescommissioner on that occasion. You seem to have a passion for it, but if you need anyone else, just let us know. And I know that both Gina K and I have done public presentations with that PowerPoint that has been circulating around. So, if you're looking for sort of talking points or facts. And of course, Commissioner Lee would be a resource there too.
Mhm.
So just let us know, let alone obviously Yamini and John could also help
Mhm.
augment. Anyone else got any discussion points on this topic?
I just had a question. So did you say, Esther, that the role of the ACRC at this session with the barristers is to basically explain the role of the ACRC, and then OCRC, Bradley Dunn was coming to talk about the some of the updated developments in the
Yes.
area? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. People, yeah, there was a sense that people know what the OCRC is, but they don't know necessarily about what the Akron Civil Rights Commission is. This came up in the context of a barristers meeting where I kind of volunteered to bring it to the commission, so that so everyone would know ACRC and what the options are. There was a secondary part that came up, which was how as we think about the barristers and we think about how are we going to get people interested in civil rights law. And so this was, this might be something that we then present or, present to the law students so that they know that there's a way to stoke that interest even while they're in school. And so, and it's a nice joint community piece with the barristers, I thought. Yeah.
Thank you so much for drawing that to our attention. I think the more we get our name out there, the better.
Okay.
All right, so moving on, community education and development. So I see we have video PSA as a item. Does anyone want to speak to that item on the agenda?
Gina K did send me the PSA or the PowerPoint presentation that had been worked up. I didn't have the opportunity to complete my review and to edit it. I'm not sure I have the software to edit it, but I at the very least need to complete the review and get it to someone who can do the editing, and then I could share it with the rest of the commission. So that's sort of where we're at on that.
Okay. Thank you. And so we'll continue that discussion. Were there any public comments sent in that need to be read?
As of 3:15 today, there were none.
All right. So having finished our agenda, having moved through our agenda, if there's no other business to conclude or to do, then we can adjourn. I think it is our practice to take a motion to adjourn, although I think having concluded our agenda, we don't need to. But
So moved.
thank you. And a second, if you would.
Second.
Thank you. All right. Super. Thank you all so much. Maybe our quickest meeting ever.
Thank you.
And if we could note that it's 5:10 p.m.
Oh, yes. We are adjourning at 5:10 p.m. Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. All right. Thank you, everybody.